Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know Ghosts of Madden are now live in Madden 23, and in this video, I'll be ranking the best 92s, the best 94s, and the best 95 Ghost of Madden players. And also, come on, even my boy Eddie knows ghosts are in the game. Now, Salsa family, hope you guys are all having a wonderful start to your day, and without further ado, let's get started by going over my top 4 92s. Now, kicking this video off, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about 92 Garrett Wilson. This man is now a budget beast in this game. At 6 foot, 93 speed, he is top end for the speed stats. He's got solid height. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it, and he's also got pretty good route running across the board, like 90 plus for every category. Not too bad at all. For a 92, he's pretty good. And again, like I said before, I'm dividing this video up for the best 92s, 94s, and 95s, so depending on what your price range is, you can find a player that fits your budget, or if you get one of these cards for free, you can figure out the best one to pick. Now, player number 2, I am not gonna lie to you, I had never heard of this guy before he got a card in this game. Nick Cross, a strong safety for the Indianapolis Colts. He's got to be a rookie. He's got to be pretty young, but he's 6 foot, 93 speed, 95 acceleration. So this man is what we like to call a physical stat demon. The speed, the excel, they're majestic. Now, taking a look at the other stats on the card, he's not bad with the zone coverage, with the hit power, with the man coverage. He can really do anything. He can fly around the field. He can cover. He can play in the run game. Like, no complaints. This is a good card. Then moving on, I had a kind of tough decision as to whether or not I'd recommend Trayvon Walker or Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau is probably the better player in real life, but in Madden, I think Trayvon Walker got a slightly better card, so he's the one I'll recommend right here. He gets 0 AP Speedster, which is actually not bad at all. He's got 92 speed, 90 block shed, and then really balanced with the pass rushing, like 92 power move, 92 finesse move. A really good card. I'm a fan of this man. Like, I think he can get to the quarterback and do so at a pretty high rate. So yeah, we kind of flew through that, but those are my favorite 92s. If you get that free 92 overall player pack from Solos, you can pick one of those cards. Also, if you wanted to, you could maybe take the offensive lineman. This guy's not bad either. Unfortunately, he doesn't get edge protector for 1 AP. If he did, I would have certainly put him in this video, but since he does it, that's kind of a knock on the player, and that's why he didn't get included in my top 3. Now, moving on, let's talk about the 94s. As we do so, fellas, 2 quick things. Number 1, if you have not yet checked out Underdog Fantasy for Thursday Night Football, or even whenever you're watching this video, there are NFL games coming up, and if you want to potentially win some money like I've been doing over the last few days, as you can see on the screen, a $60 win, a $30 win, another $30 win. If you guys want to potentially win some money, I will leave the link to Underdog in the description. It's a pretty fun app. You basically just click the higher or lower for certain player stats, whatever you're feeling. If you think your favorite quarterback is going to do well, take us higher. If you know that your favorite running back isn't going to do well because their offensive line's bad or they got a bad matchup, take the lower. And if you get your picks correct, you can win some money. Again, I will leave the link to Underdog in the description. And while you're signing up, don't forget to use code SWIFT to get your first deposit matched up to $100. Again, appreciate y'all for the love over there on that app. But moving right along, let's get into the 94 overall Ghost of Present players, because fellas, I think this is kind of one of the more underrated sections of the Ghost promo. The 95s are just so expensive. The 92s are not really that usable on a ton of teams, but these 94s, they're kind of like the sweet spot, man. I feel like Goldilocks finding the perfect porridge right here, because these cards are right in the middle and they might just be the best. Now, starting it off with a player that I definitely like, that's going to be 94 DeAndre Hopkins, man. He's 6'1" with 94 speed, really good route running stats across the board. He's going to get deep out elite, which is probably my favorite wide receiver ability in this entire game, for 0 AP. 0 AP deep out elite. I absolutely love that right there. Otherwise, stats do not look too bad at all. Like I said before, everything is going to be nice with the catching, with the route running. All that stuff's good. I feel like once you get up to like 93, 94, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. The important thing is he gets good speed, he's got good height, and he gets good abilities. Like, tick off those 3 boxes and you've got a very good receiver in this game. Now, otherwise, there's definitely some really good options in here. I'm not going to suggest Jeffrey Simmons or Dalvin Cook. Matthew Judon is pretty good, but the player that everyone seems to want right now is going to be that man Trayvon Diggs. Now, there's not many of this guy up on the auction block, and for good reason, man. He gets great abilities. 0 AP pick artist is beautiful. 1 AP mid-route KO, that's awesome as well, and he's got good stats. 6'1", 94 speed, so very similar to the build of DeAndre Hopkins. In terms of stats on the card, man's at a 95, zones at a 94, presses at a 94. Like, come on, dude. Catching's at an 89 too. Trayvon Diggs, I'm assuming all you guys know, he's got great ball skills, so he's going to be really good in that aspect. Unfortunately, unfortunately, he's 6'1", so like not super tall. He's probably not going to be contending with like the Donald Parhams of the world, but if let's say for example he's covering like a Herman Moore, he's got a shot to get that interception. For literally just $3, you can buy 100,000 coins on MMOEXP. If you want to check it out, I will leave their site linked in the description, and of course use code SWIFT at checkout for an additional 5% off your order. And yeah, overall I'm a big fan of this Trayvon Diggs card. Personally, for me, I think Trayvon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins might just be must cops, bro. Like they might be must cops on every single team. Otherwise, there's good cards in here. Like don't get me wrong, the Dallas Goedert is a good player. Personally, for me, I'd probably rather have the free Donald Parham. Justin Simmons, a good player too, but none of them are going to crack this list. I think DeAndre Hopkins as well as the Trayvon Diggs are probably my favorites. Then moving on to the 95 overall players, this is where it becomes difficult because honestly there are so many good options in here. Now for the sake of this video, I'm going to be excluding LTD players from making this list, so Cromartie, Patrick Mahomes, as well as Kenneth Walker are not allowed to make this list. And the first card that we gotta put on here is probably the most unique card in this entire game, and that's going to be Julius Peppers at free safety. 6'7" Julius Peppers, so a couple inches taller than me, about 1.5 inches I would say taller than me. Story of my life, 1.5 inches, but Julius Peppers right here, 94 speed, 95 acceleration, really nice. Like I'm not going to complain about 94 speed. Obviously if it was 95 he would be cracked. He'd be like one of the best cards in this entire game, but at 94 speed that's still pretty good. Now one of the stats that I was really curious about right here was the change of direction. I was curious if this guy would be able to move laterally, would be able to switch between routes and all that stuff, and at 88 COD I think it's good. It's not great, but 88 COD is going to be usable. And then he's also got 77 catching, so like a couple flaws I can kind of point to. I can be like, is he going to be great at like roaming around the field with that not amazing COD? And if he gets in the right position, is he going to make the catch? Those are two things we're not sure about. Obviously the zone is great, the hit power is great as well. In terms of abilities right here, boys, he's going to be getting 0 AP pick artist, which honestly the catching won't matter if he's got 0 AP pick artist, so put that on the card. It'll make sure the catching literally doesn't matter. He gets double or nothing, which you're probably not going to use, and he gets deep out zone KO for 1, so I would probably use deep out zone KO and pick artist on the card if he was not going to be my user. If he was my user, all I would do is put pick artist on him and then just know I'd catch everything. The only issue is the change of direction. I don't think it's a major issue though. This card makes the list. Then fellas, I'm going to restrict myself right here to only put 2 other players on this list out of the 95s. There's some really good options in here. One of them has got to be Charles Woodson though, man. Like Charles Woodson, 0 AP pick artist again, beautiful, 95 speed, 96 zone, very similar to the Trayvon Diggs card. I would say every stat on this card is basically the same. You're just paying the extra coins to get +1 speed. Now whether or not you think that's worth it, that's fully up to you. Me personally, I'd probably go with Trayvon Diggs and not spend like double the coins for +1 speed, but if you want to, he gets the best abilities in the game for the cheapest prices possible, and he's just a really good card across the board. And yeah, man, this Herman Moore card is pretty glitchy. This is probably my favorite card in the entire program so far. He's going to be one of the players that I'll look to pick up when his price comes down. Right now, there's only one of them and he's up for like 1 million coins, but 6'4", 95 speed, beautiful. We absolutely love that right there. 94 deep route running, 96 medium, 91 short. Great stats across the board. The route running is majestic on this player. In terms of abilities, boys, he's getting 0 AP mid out elite, so interesting right there. I don't really use that ability a ton. I might have to try it. I don't know if it would light up on like a regular corner route. If it does, that could be kind of nice. So kind of just recapping that, we had Garrett Wilson, Trayvon Walker, and Nick Cross in the top 3 for the 92s. For the 94s, it was DeAndre Hopkins and Trayvon Diggs, and then for the 95s, it was Woodson, Peppers, as well as Herman Moore.